All right, so you saw the title of this video. The weather is not an external thing, boys and girls. Weather is an internal phenomena first. Now let me explain that because I know that broke some people's heads. So let me get fucking right into it. So what do I mean by that? Well, we all experience some form of weathering system, right? Because we are inside. This whole body is a cycle. Think about how you came out of your mother's womb. You was like this. It was like your knees was like this. You was forming a circle. Now, when we look at outside of us, the most holiest shape of all things is kind of basically like a circle. Because what does it entail? It entails that there's a form encapsulated within this parameter, within this line of experience and things like that. So just like outside of us, how we see the sun going up, the moon going down, the moon being full, the moon being in new moon and things like that, we experience those things outside of us, inside of us, and that affects our internal weathering system. Now, what is our internal weathering system? Okay, so if you understand the elementals and things like that, you understand that the mind actually is the producer of these elementals, and whenever we excessively create a lot of elementals, we might even flood ourselves from the inside. So let's take this for example, right? Let's say we get into the feeling of water, emotion, the triangle that's upside down, right? That's just the symbolism for water. That's literally like a boat anchoring you down. So think about what happens when you get overly emotional in a situation. What happens? You start flooding from the inside. It's like Noah's Ark. And you know what's crazy? Noah's Ark is also an allegory for what? Cancer. The 12th hour of the day to the second hour of the day and things like that. So when we get overly emotional inside of us, what happens? We get flooded with emotions and we literally start tearing up waters from our eyes because we have created a flood. So now our internal weathering system is experiencing a flood, like literally as if there's a land inside of you flooding. So now all the logical thoughts, all the practical thoughts, left brain, are now all under the water. They've been outweighed by the right brain, and none of these spheres of our consciousness is bad or anything. We just have to learn to equalize them so we don't get lost on either polar shift. And so for another example would be, think about a person who chooses to see things how they want to see them. Now this person might be like a very fiery person. This person might have a very like a burning eye, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Because we're supposed to become more powerful. We're supposed to become put on the full armor of God and things like that. So a person who's very fiery, they might even burn through how they feel. They might even lack certain empathy and things like that. So a person who is utilizing the fire element will also get lost in their feeling, but from the perspective of, nah, this is just how they see things. So fire separate from reality, and water create empathy in reality. It's able to reciprocate because fire just come in and go. Like fire energy, they don't like to be necessarily, they may not necessarily like to, well, basically based on the zodiac signs too, the only zodiac I like to do that is Aries, because Sagittarius and Leo, they basically want to be liked as well, because a Leo want to get attention and they want to give attention. A Sagittarius, they want to be able to reciprocate and see your meaning and reasoning behind things, and they want to mutably go through that. They want to adaptively go through how you see things, your morality, your beliefs, and they believe like everything has a meaning and reasoning behind it. So these people also want to be liked as well. But the fire energy itself don't necessarily like to attach itself to anything. It's its own spark. But with Leo, it might play out like an emotional person, because now you have this fire that's fixated, and this person is very passionate about how they see things. So you could play out like a very emotional person, but it's really a fiery energy. So just like how we experience, because look, as above, so below. Ain't nothing new under the sun. Everything that we see outside of us is the same thing going on damn inside of us. So it really is just about connecting the dots, because this is the true symbolism right here. Because we just get lost in the linguistics, in the parameters that they say. We get lost in the Arabic language, we get lost in the English language, and we forget what these books, like the Bible, the Quran, what they're trying to describe in the first place. Like anytime in the Bible you're talking about daughters, or you're talking about sons of God, you're talking about sons, left brain, daughters, right brain type energy, feminine energy, masculine energy. But the way they present it to you is going to be different across every single century, across every single spectrum, but we are all talking about the same thing, literally. The only difference is that we are experiencing things from our own relative position in space and time, and based on your geographical location, there's going to be certain virtues and principles that are more, let's just say, stronger there, let's say. Because if you go to the Middle East, let's just say, you would experience more of the spring season. This is why it's very hot over there. You know, it doesn't get much water because it's birth, it's fire. What is birth? Birth hurts and things like that. There's birth pains and things like that. So you could even say that's like the head area of that being for a symbolism and shit like that. Because it's like Gemini, Taurus, and Aries, the spring season. Versus if you go to the Western continents, you start dealing with the Yin realm. You start dealing with you know, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. These energies that are below the horizon. And if you go up to Canada, you start dealing with Aquarius, Pisces, Capricorn, and things like that. Because you gotta understand as above, so below. And when you understand those things, you're able to be like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on. Because what is death season? What is winter season? It's just letting go of things. It's just letting things die, pretty much. And what is winter? Winter it kill a bunch of plants, it kill a bunch of life. So what? Next time there could be life in that area, things like that. So this is what we do as spirits, because we all going in a cycle in and out of this reality. So the more you're able to handle and learn your internal weather pattern, because it is a pattern and it's reoccurring, but you have to be conscious enough to be able to map out what's going on in your mind, because what you're experiencing is always what you've been experiencing. What you're doing right now as a spirit, in a soul, in a body, is what you've always been doing. But see, when we create energy, it's hard to destroy that energy, because when you create a, let's say for example, the recycling system we have in the world, right? Let's say we created a car. We created this contraption or this system or whatever to make a car. Now you have a car. Now you can see that getting rid of cars themselves is way harder than making the car itself. You gotta take it to the junkyard, you gotta crush it, you gotta recycle, so you gotta put all this extra energy. Now think about your mental car, your mental vehicle. You created a mental vehicle with your spirit via observing a spectrum and dropping that into a particle. So we came from lightness and we dropped into density, because really a spirit true essence is like constant transformation, not us being stuck in these virtues and principles, because really spirits just like to experience. And whenever you can't get outside of your internal weathering system, your spirit will always create a situation that's either destructive or prosperous, depending on how you direct it. But see, you got to be aware, because your spirit really just don't want to change. So if you stuck in the pattern, you're going to find yourself experiencing hellistic thoughts, hellistic feelings. You're going to find yourself depressed. You know why? Because depressed means depression, because something is pressing upon you and you are unable to move that weight off of you. So now you feel like there's some, because why? You upholding the world. They tell you, go to church on Sunday, go to school Monday to Friday, pay your fucking taxes, you better not fucking jaywalk, you better not do this, boy, or we're gonna feel this, because they have their witchcraft all over the world, literally. So down to even when you go to the grocery store, because I'm not a moral man, I don't feel bad necessarily for certain things. So because they be utilizing your own energy against you. But so if you let them program you instead of you becoming aware of yourself and programming yourself, then you're gonna find yourself in some deep shit, because you're gonna find yourself trying to manifest their things of the world. But really what we're supposed to be doing is manifesting godly things, attributes and characteristics, higher octave thinking and feeling. And when we bring that down into the world, as far as our behaviors, our ways of acting, how we take care of things, this is when we create prosperity. Because realistically, everyone around you know that they are in hell. But just like how black people get shot on TV and how that's normalized, being in hell is normalized. In fact, it's fucking glorified. This is the craziest world. In fact, it ain't even the craziest world. This is probably craziest verses than this motherfucker. You think this world is demonic? Man, wait till you go to a worse water system than the system that we in. right? Because we think, oh no, we're having it bad. You could be in America and Canada right now. You're like, oh no, brother, oh, we're having things bad, man. And you go to Africa, niggas ain't got shit. Niggas literally, but it's not about what you have and what you don't have. It's about how you observe that thing, because your observation of it is what creates the meaning behind it, and that's what creates the interpretation, and that's what creates the chemical flow inside of you, which produces your state of mind, which creates behaviors which affects your mind. So think about if you're constantly stressed out work. Think about if you're constantly in the energies of being worried, you know, and all these different things, right? That's gonna literally have a negative effect on your health and things like that. So the body is affected by the mind, because the body is a part of the mind. It's an extension of the mind. Or see, this is where the West gets y'all lost. The West wants you to think that the mind is just something up here in between your brain. Like, and if that's true, point to me, where do you dwell inside of your brain? As if you're not aware of your whole body. What's happening is we, as a spirit, become aware of different parts of our body whenever we pay attention to it. That's how you rise your Kundalini. That's how you, when you pay attention to, like, let's say you're watching pornography, or let's say, you know, you're about to have some fucking hot, wet sex with somebody. You paying attention to that 8th house circumstance. You paying attention to the energy of Mars, root chakra, transforming something. You know, sex energy, which is some of the most powerful energies on this planet. It's some of the most, with the most transformative properties on this planet. Real fucking shit. You observing that 8th house circumstance, so now your dick is gonna get zoop. It's gonna stand up. I mean, I hope yours is standing up, because if you ain't standing up, bruh, shit, life is gonna be very difficult. But that's the thing. We are observers over internal weathering patterns. This is a weather pattern, and you're getting ready to create another weather pattern if you can surpass this cycle that you are in to create another cycle. Because this is all we're doing. We're like migrating as a spiritual group, and because it's like teamwork makes the dream work as well. Because there's no such thing as you being in the world by yourself. Like, you're not in your body by yourself. You got trillions of cells. You got millions of cells inside of your body that's collaborating to make this experience happen, with you being the main spirit observing them. But see, you can't let your internal virtues and principles, your internal sons and daughters of God, your feminine and objective expression outweigh you, because they're going to try to pull you back into old ways of behavior based on the strong gravitational pull that it has. Because when you put so much energy into something, it becomes kind of alive in a way. Like, think about whenever you start drawing, right? Your mind will automatically produce concepts for you to draw. Same thing with, let's say you're angry all the time, you're pissed off and all that. Your mind will automatically create situations to be pissed off about. So this is what the mind does. It just recycles whatever we put in it, and it produces it out there. So don't get lost in your internal weathering system. Learn that shit, master that shit, so you can create another weathering system and not get lost in density in this body, because this is really hell. So yeah. Remember, as above, so below. Don't get lost in these linguistics and in these Arabic and English languages. Look outside and understand what's going on. For example, this is another low-key occult secret that I have, right? It's not really a secret. It's out there, because God don't hide nothing from you. But it becomes a secret because motherfuckers get lost in the world, and people start starting like brotherhoods and golden dawns, golden birds or whatever and shit like that. So it's like, when you pay attention to the feminine energy, you see that females are very curvy. You know what I'm saying? You might have a big ass, you might have some nice hips, you know, some nice chi-chis and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So that energy of the curve itself, that's feminine. That's round. That's like a feminine expression. When you look at, for example, the number 2 in numerology, it's a curved number. And if you don't think about the number 2, it's a number about being peaceful. It's a number about being intuitive. So it's a feminine energy. When you look at the number 5, for example, having to do with passion, you know, root chakra type energy, it has to do with what? It gives you a curve as well, because it's a feminine expression. So if you understand the occult energies, you're also going to be able to see this outside over there as well, because this is nothing but a collaboration between the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, to create an orb, a sphere, of reality, so it can become a container for spirits to maintain it. And a sphere, a chakra, is nothing but an organ, really, because it's a mind. It's a processing system of sorts. And when you look at the number 8, it's also feminine. Why? Because it has curves. So it's the cycle in the yin realm that we don't really see, the Ouroboros and things like that. Same thing with the masculine side. Think about why we say, oh, yeah, man, you know, this nigga, he's straight. Yeah, you're saying this nigga, he's straight because you're really describing the masculine attributes and characteristics. You're having a man in his objectivity, a man who's building reality, not a man who's lost in his feelings. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because you might be a man and you might have some feminine attributes and characteristics, or you might be a female and you might have some masculine characteristics and attributes. Not for you to go out and decide and get a gender change. Not. It's just how you chose to express yourself within this vehicle that you created and things like that. Co-created with your parents. Because remember, everything is teamwork makes the dream work. You can't do anything by yourself. Down to even if you want to start a business. It's teamwork makes the dream work. You can go far by yourself, but still, you eventually have to go with other people to expand, because you can't necessarily, there's stuff that you can't notice by yourself. There's things that other people notice, because based on your abilities, gifts, and talents, and things like that. So, the number 1 is masculine, because it's a straight line. The number 4 is masculine. It's also made of straight lines. And the number 7 is also masculine, because it's made up of straight lines. So, these are occult energies that's in the world in front of you, but if you're lost in the world, you're not going to be able to observe these things and understand how these occult motherfuckers constructed these linguistics to make the calendar that we are in, that we just think that is normal. Because it's just an interpretation of as above, so below. Real fucking shit. So don't get lost in your internal weathering system. Master that shit, because that's eventually your fucking destiny. Because what you're going to see is, if you don't master it, you're going to find yourself in a very deep fucking hole. You're going to find yourself in a very deep hell. And you're going to ask yourself, damn, why am I here? In this hell, in this pothole that I created for myself. Because there's something that you didn't fucking put on the pothole to fill in the pothole. So when you drive and travel as a spaceship, as a Merkaba in life, go through different forms of experiences, whether bug form, animal, you know, you're not going to find yourself falling short or calling yourself a victim because you didn't see or feel something coming, right? We just might have the wrong form of morality and things like that. This is why you got to get into your own energies and see how you're coming short. It's real fucking shit. Real fucking shit.